Well, the history of Licon Dairy started in the early 60s by a young couple of Eugenio Licon and Maria Licon.
My grandfather, Eugenio Licon Sr., was born in Juarez. He then, he had a few odd jobs. He, worked construction. He was a taxi driver, so he's always known how to work. He was also a farmer too. They had a small farm along the border, the Mexican-American border.
So they both had the background of the farming industry and the dairy industry, as they made themselves, trying to make a living out of what they both knew what to do. My mom, knowing the recipe, what she had learned from my grandma making azaderos. My dad, working through, all his childhood in a farm, milking cows and that. So they both proceeded doing a dream that, for them to start a whole family and to support a family on what they knew what to do.
He came over to the United States. That's when he started working for my grandmother's father, which was the Martinez. So they were the ones that originated the asaderos. They would sell cheese and he would work for them.
By him waking up at 3 a.m, my mom, waking up after him, as soon as he was done milking the cows, my mom would take the milk to his kitchen and start making the cheese. And from there, my dad would take the cheese and go to door by door selling his product.
He then had the vision of, there's more to this. We can really market this. And that's when he changed the product to Licon Dairy Acero. So he branded with the Licon. And that's what really, kickstarted. It gave the product its brand. And that's from there, it kind of took off.
As the demand got bigger and bigger, his herd started getting bigger. He had purchased more cows. And as the time goes by, they end up hiring employees so they can help my dad milking cows and my mom making cheese. And by the 1970s, his product was already on supermarkets. So the demand kept going and going as the years went by.
It was very interesting to see how he came up, and he always believed and he always said that he was the American dream. He came from nothing and he was able to build a future for him and also his entire family. So it was I want to say it was he was the one that envisioned everything. And, he wasn't, didn't have a degree. He wasn't educated. He was just a man that says, as long as you know how to work, you can get through anything. So I think that's what he instilled in his children, his grandchildren, and everybody around him. And that's how, we grew up. I looked up to my father and my grandfather, and they pretty much just showed us how to work hard and, be honest and just be a good person.
I have 3 sisters and I'm the only boy. So we all had a lot of duties in the farm. We all had, my job was before I go to school, I had to feed calves. As soon as I was out of school, come back and feed calves. So all of us had a job at the farm. So this is every day, 7 days out of the week. So, and there was time that was fun, because we enjoyed playing with animals, working with animals. But, there's times that, it was hard because we're always constantly working, as my parents were both hard workers. They worked 7 days out of the week, and, it was from 3 a.m. till, feeding back again in the afternoon and all that.
My grandfather was also, he was a quiet person. Once he felt comfortable, he would really, he had a good sense of humor, and he kind of had, I want to say, he had characteristics that other people didn't really have. He was a very honest person. I think everybody that knew him would definitely say that he was just a hardworking man. And that's something that, goes and passes into my father. They're known as hardworking men. And my grandfather, working with them all day and just being around him, he would rub off on you a lot. Just, the history of of how he came and how he struggled and how you can overcome anything. As long as you put in the effort and, a little bit of elbow grease, everything can get done. So people generally would say that he was a really nice man. Once you got him going, he would just carry conversation with everybody. And there was a few instances where he would be cleaning, always working. So he'd be cleaning on the farm, and, visitors would come and ask him, how's your owner, how's your boss? And he would make jokes and say, he's this and that. And they didn't even know that they were talking to him. So he never really wanted recognition. He just wanted, I guess, to give back to the community, and he chose San Elizario when they came over here. So this was all just farmland, and slowly he started purchasing the property, started investing, and I guess he really saw that he can take up as much land as he can, and it'll create more opportunities for himself. So that's when he started growing his herd. So his cows, it went from 10 and then up to 100 and 200. So he really was able to double the profit margin also on his products.
Well, as the years went by, the demand of the cheese got bigger and bigger. He opened a store in the same facility where he was making cheese. He started in a room, 400 square feet room. And that's where this cheese was processed. And he built a little store in there. And the people would now come up to the farm and buy our product. And from there, the demand was bigger and bigger. So his herd of cows coming up to 100 head now from what he had started from 10 cows. Well, as the years went by, my mom, always a bird lover, animal lover, she purchased a pair of ostriches and put it in the farm. And it started attracting a lot of people. This is very rare to see any exotic animals, especially in this area. So while the people were waiting in line to buy the cheese, they would go out there and see the pair of ostriches. And eventually, it turned out to be into a petting zoo. We added more animals to the petting zoo. We had schools from all over the El Paso area, make a field trip and see the dairy, how the milk was processed and the cheese was processed. And my dad was always one of those men that, while he was making cheese, he would always try to give you a sample of the cheese, what he was making. So people would love to come out here and get a little sample of the fresh cheese that was processed. And as the years kept going by, the demand was bigger. He had all the supermarkets in El Paso, and now we had a lot of people from out of town, looking forward to buy the product. So, this is an everyday thing, and all his product was sold, that same day. That everything he would have made that day, everything was sold that same day.
My grandfather's death really affected us. We all looked up to him. We all looked for him for advice, and he was still a very big part of the farm. He would, still work on the tractors. He was the one that was always helping us. So it was very difficult. I would still look for him, and he wasn't there anymore. And we would see, some of the projects he was trying to complete before he had gotten sick and passed away, and they were still halfway done. And it was very hard for us. I don't think we've overcome it entirely, but the reason we continue to work so hard and continue to push was it's still his legacy. It's still his dream. So, my father just didn't slow down at all. We decided to ramp up even more. And that's what really is the motivation behind everything. Cause we still have customers that come by and ask for him and ask, but where is he? And we have to break the news and say, he passed away 4 years ago. So it really did affect us. Even our employees, a lot of our employees were hurt by it. He would take in some of our employees. One of them has been with us for more than 30, 40 years. And my grandfather would, helped him out since he was a young teen, and now he's ready to retire in a few years. So it really did. And I guess also our customers, he would always, try and take small talk with our customers, and people were so used to bringing them by. We had a few kids that were that have autism and all that, and they used to come with my grandfather. My grandfather would put them with the animals, and my grandfather always believed that the animals were therapy for them. And that gentleman actually just came by a few weeks ago, and he's already in his 20s, and to see him fully grown up, and he still came by looking for my grandfather when we had to tell him that he wasn't here anymore. But that's another reason why we do what we do, is because that was my grandfather's vision, is without the people, we are nothing. So that's why we continue to have the petting zoo. We try and fix up things. It's just becoming harder now with the cost of everything, but we're still trying. The way the businesses are set up, my father is the owner of Licon Dairy, along with my mother, and my mother is the one that does all the paperwork. She does all the hard work, which is really the hard work. She does all the paperwork. She deals with the finances and all that. My dad does, the physical labor work. So he makes the cheese. He does all that. I have a younger brother that also helps out on the farm. So he likes the tractors a little bit more. And I help them manage, I help them do as much as I can when I'm not in the restaurant. So it's pretty much a 7-a-day thing. And I do everything in the restaurant along with my family. I have a 2-year-old and my girlfriend, so they help me out so much. They're always giving me new ideas. But one thing you will see is when you come here that we're working alongside of our employees. So that's one thing we do believe, is that we don't just get to stay at home. We really we enjoy the work. So I'll be next to my cooks cooking as well. I'll be making hamburgers. I'll be making cheese, just like my dad's making cheese every single day. He gets up at 4 every single day. So it does take a lot. And, you'll see him outside on the tractor. You'll see us all over. You'll see me cleaning, our parking lot and doing everything. But we do believe that, it's our business. So we work just as our employees, just as anyone else. Our future plans for the business is we still want to continue to grow. I've always had the plan of mass production and franchising and moving all over. But as I get older and as the business continues to grow, we do see we don't want to lose the quality of our product. So we want to still stay as a small business, but we do plan on pushing more product. We do plan on bringing more things. We also want to, increase the size of our petting zoo, bring in more animals, maybe not so exotic, but we do want to bring, just animals that will entertain the kids. And we want to actually make the place more of a learning. So we want kids to come over and actually understand how the cows are being made. We want them to get the history of the animals and kind of see a little bit more, make it more educational. I think that's the right word to make it. We want people to come out here and just have a family time. The way the world is kind of moving a little fast, it's good to kind of slow it down and come out to what's left of the country. So we want people, to get the good cheese. The recipe, we've kept it the same for 60, 70 years. So, it's kind of a taste of kind of like history, and it's a taste of generations. We do see customers coming in that their parents used to bring them, or their grandparents, and now they're bringing their kids. So it's kind of a generational thing, and they kind of they saw my grandfather here for many years, then they saw my dad here, and now I'm here. So it's kind of a generation thing. As they're getting older, so are we, and our animals, some of the animals we've had here for 20, 30 years. So, we just want people to come out here and have a good family time and, kind of slow down. It's a good place to relax. That's why, the restaurant, we try and keep it as calm as we can. We do have music, but we want people to kind of unwind, and the petting zoo is free. It's on a donation basis, but that's just to give back to the community. I grew up around cows and all the farm animals and all that. So to me, it's natural to be in that kind of environment. But for some kids that have never seen a cow, they go crazy. And I think that's why we still do all that. It's the expression of the kids, and we get cards, we get letters, we get pictures sent to us all over the place from customers that they've never seen a cow, they've never seen a horse, or even what an ostrich looks like. So that's what we want, to kind of instill and to make memories. I think that's what Licon Dairy is. It's a place of memories.